I'm making a painting, and recently I've been intentionally pursuing some creative endeavors a little bit more instead of consuming and scrolling and all of that. And so I, this past weekend, visited the art museum and felt very inspired to come home and work on my painting. And so I'm just getting my paints all set up, getting myself taped off so that my painting is ready for me to work on the ocean. And so I've been kind of doing this in multiple parts. And last week I painted the cliffs. So I'm taping rather, those off so that as I'm painting the ocean, I don't accidentally, swipe my brush across my beautiful gray cliffs. And so getting my tape laid out, and then I'm just going to dive in to mixing up my paint and painting. And so this painting is of the Cliffs of Moher, and I visited in 2016, I believe, and it to this day is one of the most beautiful scenes I have ever seen in my entire life. And I think about this location often when I'm meditating, when I need to kind of think of a calm, tranquil, happy place. I think about the Cliffs of Moher. And so it was an easy decision to decide to paint this as one of my first pieces since leaving my 9 to 5 job. And so many, many moons ago, I actually painted the ocean by my parents' beach house, which we no longer have, but we had a little condo at the shore when I was younger, and I painted that ocean scene, and it was another one of my, happy places. So this painting of the Cliffs of Moher is one I'll treasure and be very grateful to have documented. And so today is the ocean. I think tomorrow I'll work on the clouds and the sky. But I'm slowly chipping away at the painting. It's not a race, I'm just trying to take my time, show up for my artwork, and each day pursue creativity a little bit more. Um, I recently read the book The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, which I highly recommend if you are a creative person or if you are interested in creating more. And that can be any art form under the sun. Rick Rubin, for example, is in the music industry. I personally really love visual arts. I love photography. I love painting. And so for me, I very much was reading his book from that lens. And, his book is organized into many short chapters that were very easy to digest. You could read it cover to cover, but you could also open it each day to a random page and find a little bit of inspiration. One of the things that I took away that I found super impactful was his discussion about how creativity, of course, comes when inspiration strikes. But if you are pursuing the artistic path, if you are an artist and pursuing it for the sake of creating art, you have to show up and create even when you aren't inspired. And this is true of so many things in life. You have to do, workouts at the gym when you don't want to be healthy. You have to show up for your job when you don't want to. And art is no different. Being creative is no different. And so I've been trying to embrace this a little bit more. I created a little bit of structure around my unstructured life, and I've been trying to introduce different channels of creation that I would like to pursue. And so creating art is one avenue that I'm very passionate about having more time for, but creating a means for supporting myself is also important. And so, I'm pursuing creating my visual arts more, I'm pursuing creating written word more. And I'm also committed to spending time to set up the infrastructure to actually monetize those things. And so that's why I'm pursuing a little bit more time on TikTok, a little bit more time with YouTube, which is the new modality for me, and creating recordings of myself creating artwork. And so it's all new, but I am excited about it, and I hope to continue pursuing it even on the days where I don't feel creative. And every day that I am pursuing this new, more aligned lifestyle is a day where I am living more true to myself. I am living authentically, and I am living as an artist in a world where I thought that was never possible. So I'm very grateful to be here and be doing this. And so I'm going to keep working on this painting, and I'll try to record tomorrow as well when I paint the sky.
Just working on my sky a little more. I'm really happy with how it came out. I've never painted clouds, and I was like actually really nervous to paint them, but I'm really happy with the end result. It's looking really painterly and dreamy, and granted the sky was not this blue the day that I visited, but it's good to take some creative license a little bit here. But I'm pretty pleased. I recently decided to, pursue more of my creative endeavors and invest the time and energy into creating instead of consuming, and I'm really happy with how I've been feeling. Like before this, like 3-4 weeks ago, I was kind of mentally burnt out and stressed, and I just didn't feel like myself anymore. And one of my goals in 2025 has been to really like get back to feeling like myself. And I feel like I lost touch with who I truly am. I know that's sad to say. I feel like as a grown-up, we have to make money, we have to support ourselves, and sometimes that leads us to careers and life paths that don't necessarily feel aligned. And that's kind of how I've been feeling, is that I was working at a job that was the complete and utter opposite of who I am and everything I stand for. And it kind of got to a breaking point this past holiday season in 2024, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I talked to my partner, my fiance, and obviously no one wants to hear their future spouse say, I'm thinking of leaving my job, I'm thinking of taking a break. But he also, witnessed firsthand just how much I've been not myself. And so I think when he heard me say, I'm thinking about doing this, I'm thinking about taking some intentional action to step away from this role, he was super supportive, which I don't know what I would do if he hadn't been. I guess I would still be there, but the first couple weeks was just, in a rush to find a new job and get back out there. And about 2 weeks into job applying and interviewing and just feeling like the industry is not quite right, I brought it up to him, what do you think about if I just actually pursue art for a little while? Because I've never really allowed myself to do that. In college, you're 18 years old and you want to make everyone around you happy. You want to pursue a career that your family approves of, and you don't really know yourself that well. I mean, some people do, which I always have admired that. I've never been that way. I've always been kind of a little lost, a little unsure of, who I am, and I don't think there's one right or wrong way. Like, I don't think it's bad that I took the long meandering path to figure out what I like and what I don't like, but I've always admired the people that just know, you know. So yeah, I recently decided to give this a go, you know, document my journey, actually create instead of just consuming and existing and showing up for my job and hating every moment. Not that I hated it. I shouldn't say that. I really enjoyed the intellectual problem solving required, but what I really didn't enjoy was the fact that I was in the private equity industry, which is a highly competitive industry. Like, it's amazing that I made it there. But I don't agree with the ethics of the private equity industry. I was just chatting a little bit about my painting that I've been working on and my career transition, but I've been definitely working towards finding a new way of supporting myself, and especially pursuing more of my creative endeavors. And so I'm very grateful that I have the privilege of taking some time away from work, but I was kind of withering away a little bit when I was in my career in private equity, just because even when I majored in finance, I never really felt like maximizing shareholder profit aligned with my view of the world. Feels like the goal of businesses and corporations isn't solely to profit, but rather their mission should be aligned to what they're producing or what they're providing, whether it's a service or a product. I don't think the end goal should just be profit above all else. Like, just never made sense to me. It was interesting intellectually, but my values, my goals, my thoughts about the world around me didn't align at all with private equity. So, while I love the companies that I got to work with, I did not love the funds. They were my favorite people. But I loved all the companies I got to visit and all the people I got to meet at these small businesses that got very successful. But now I'm a small business, and now I'm figuring out how to set up an Etsy and a YouTube and a TikTok to promote my art and get my name out there. And it's interesting to be bringing all of the best practices I learned in the industry to myself. We'll see how I do. We'll see if I'm a success, but right now I'm just trying to figure out how to sell my artwork best. And right now I'm just, creating listings that are digital listings. But I'd love to offer my artwork as a print, because when I shop, I don't prefer to print it myself. So I've been researching third-party printing services. I don't think it makes sense for me to buy a printer, as much as I would love to just buy it myself, print it myself. I've learned how to do that in school. Markup on these third-party printing services has been astounding. I know this is very dull, but this is like the kind of stuff that I now am going down rabbit holes to figure out, which is kind of fun. I like it. This is the kind of stuff that I would research for other people before. $530 divided by 9. After 60 prints, you break even. That's actually pretty good. I don't know if that includes shipping though. Let me see. $9 profit margin for Printify. No, they charge you shipping. So that's just the pricing on the print. Could be fun. Anyways, so this is the kind of stuff that I get into right now. And I think today what I'm going to do is add some more digital prints. Maybe research another third-party printing software that my friend told me about yesterday. And later in the day, when I get tired of this business stuff, I like to choose some creative writing. And so one of my other dreams is to publish some of my writing. I've always been a writer of poetry, and I would love to publish my poetry. We'll see. I shopped it around in 2020. Was it 2021? No, I think it was 2020. And I had a couple of publishers respond, just communicating their desire for me to keep writing, that I had a strong voice, but that they recommended I seek out a agent. And so I've been researching that as well in my newfound free time. And they do say, in order to find an agent, it's sometimes helpful to print in smaller publications in the interim. So what I think I might do is try to submit some of my poetry to some literary journals and get maybe a couple pieces published so that I have an easier time finding an agent down the road. So we'll see. We'll see. All fun things in motion. I'm very excited. I'm very excited that there's all these new ways of pursuing things that feel so true to me that I neglected for very long. So yeah, painting, writing poetry, creative writing, researching these business concepts for myself and not for some third party to make a lot of profits. It's been very enjoyable. So I'm going to keep working today, but it was nice to catch up, kind of document where I'm at right now. And if you'd like to follow along on my journey, you can follow on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok. I'm Yay Donna. Or you can also follow me on Substack, the same name as my Etsy store, Lazuli Lens, all one word, Lazuli Lens. I have 1 subscriber, 2 followers on Etsy. I'm brand new, but you know, give me a follow. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.